The Philippines, a nation known for its popular tourist spots and varied cultures. It is also a land run by guns and drugs. The agents of the National Bureau of Investigations recently discovered that one of the world's most powerful drug syndicates has infiltrated the country.
They are trying to expand their business operation in Asia.
And they are on a mission to take them down.
Nobody wanted to be assigned on this division if they have a choice. We were assigned here, and so we have to perform our job.
The National Bureau of Investigation comprises Philippines' most elite crime fighters. Modeled after the American FBI, the agents of the NBI are tasked to investigate the most heinous of crimes across the entire Philippine archipelago. Today, the NBI is at the forefront of the war against drugs.
90% of the operations which resulted to the death of NBI agents is from narcotics, anti-narcotics operation.
That is going to be the worst plan I've heard all day.
We're going to look at this.
It is 8 p.m. at night, and the NBI office is still bustling with activity.
We work here 24/7. As much as possible, if we conduct anti-narcotics operation, we don't go home. And we're used to it. We stay here longer than we stay in our houses.
The NBI agents seldom return home during a case, partly because of their dedication, but also to protect their families in case they are being followed by people who want them dead.
The syndicates who may be following me, the hitman whom they will hire to assassinate me, that happens every day. That will be your concern every day for the rest of your life. We have acquired the necessary search warrant before the Manila Regional Trial Court. The director has authorized an operation on this area.
Agent Rizaldi Rivera has been an NBI agent for the last 22 years and was given an award for Outstanding Law Enforcer of the Year 2013. He is an expert at clandestine operations, including raids on drug dens and drug traffickers.
It would maybe about 6 men, 7 men, depending on in the case. But if that is a large organization which is occupying, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 different locations, you have to have a big group. You have to conduct a good briefing on that, because anything that will go wrong will be your responsibility. There are a lot of people there. When you do the briefing, I can notice it. Some are nervous, some are very eager, some are excited. You will notice it in the briefing. The NBI has to coordinate the operation with the police station to avoid misencounter. Once that is done, then the barangay.
Barangay is the native Filipino term for a village, district, or suburb.
Do not coordinate prematurely. That would be premature because of leakages. The operation will probably leak. For me, I do the operation simultaneously. I lead the operation in the house. Let's say this is house number 1 or house number 2. I'm already there. I instruct a member of the team, do the coordination with the police, and you do the coordination with the barangay. So when the signal is given, we are entering the premises. They are now coordinating with the police in the barangay. Baba ka dyan. Ano to?
Sir, di akin na, sir.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to have your own counsel of your own choice. As of now, you are being arrested.
And in entering the house, what you have to watch out is sniper fire. Like what happened in Tala, Caloocan City a month ago. An NBI agent was killed. That was a drug-related operation. About 40 NBI agents, they were conducting this kind of inventory of the items taken there. 3 or 4 NBI agents are within the premises. They failed to do what I call a cover. They were staying outside the house, but within the premises. So an unfriendly fire broke. Somebody's dead. That syndicate member, that the person who was responsible in killing that NBI agent, I think was never found. He was never arrested.
Even with small-time drug pushers, an anti-narcotics raid presents imminent dangers. But the NBI agents are soon to take on one of the world's most powerful drug syndicates, the Sinaloa cartel. Made up of over 7,000 islands, the Philippines is a smuggler's paradise with numerous entry points. It is a country plagued with widespread poverty, high unemployment rates, and a ready workforce willing to do anything for a relatively cheap price.
This is courier bringing in drugs by swallowing the pads. They will board the plane, then after they arrive at the place of destination, they will just go to the toilet and they will poo, then get the drugs. Then after they poo, they give it to a Filipina or Filipino men, then swallow it again. They just wash the pads.
Poverty has pushed many into doing unforeseeable things, including being drug mules and even assassins. Having put several high-profile criminals behind bars, Agent Rizaldi has had several attempts made on his life by assassins. He has since learned to recognize these guns for hire.
Usually, gun-for-hire syndicates are living as ghetto dwellers or slum dwellers. Because of the realities of life, they have no jobs, some of them are illiterate, they have no education at all. They were made tough by living in the streets. They resort to killing people to earn a living. If you're a prominent person, let's say you're a politician, somebody wants you dead, well, the price is of course higher. But if you're an ordinary person, well, the killing may be consummated over 2 bottles of beer.
It is for this reason that we have to conceal most of the agents' faces in order to protect their identities. This is especially important when it comes to anti-narcotics operations, where powerful syndicates are involved. Today, the NBI agents have recruited 2 of their assets, who will be sent to document a drug sale with a hidden camera.
We'll be having a test buy from one of a drug place here in Manila. We'll be using 2 assets to penetrate the drug operations there.
The transaction has to be caught on camera in order for the courts to approve the NBI's application for a search warrant. But if the informants are found to be carrying a spy camera, their lives will be in danger.
This place is for lowlifes, you know. This is a drug-infested area. And so many gangs are protecting this site. That's why we have to be very careful in going and extricating from this place. Those assets of mine, they have many criminal records. For many years, I've been working with me and they've been giving information with the NBI.
The van with the informants has heavily tinted windows and is backed up by 2 other vehicles filled with agents in case something goes wrong.
There are 2 kinds of law enforcers, like angels. Some angels, they guard the gates of hell, and every demon that comes out, they catch them. Us, we go inside hell, and then we catch them and drag them out of hell. That's our job.
first, we are going to tour the area so that you can see the area, okay? And then we drop them off and they will do their thing.
If anything bad happens, just stay on the floor. Just stay low.
But don't kiss my ass, okay?
Okay.
In spite of the light-hearted banter, one can sense the tension as the van nears the target location. Both the informants are terrified of being seen, despite the tinted windows.
We're going to turn left there. Turo mo, Nyor, saan ka kaliwa?
You can see those
This
people
is the
there.
lair.
Spotters.
This is the lair of the drug lord. This is the drug infested. Yan. Ito this one. We're going to hit this one. Yan, sa likod. Yan, pataas yan.
You see those people there. They're just
pag-
watching. You can see their faces when a car passes by.
Ano?
They look at the
Sa
plate
ano? Sa...
numbers. And then when
tayo,
you pass by, they will write it
Kaya
down.
ka strictly officer.
And then when you come back again, they'll know that you're conducting surveillance.
You're all right.
Once the van is out of visual range from the target location, the informants are sent to work.
Ikaw sa'yo.
Magkano ba 1,000 saka isang ganun? Dali 150, no? Sa maliit, sa malaki. Alam ko 150.
We're just gonna go to the place. We're
Ay.
going to wait for them and
Yeah,
pick up
directly.
the shabu. And I will submit it to the forensic chemist to examine if it's real.
The test buy was a success, with the acquisition of 2 sachets of methamphetamine hydrochloride, also known as shabu. This operation was carried out on a small-time pusher, but recently, the NBI have uncovered a big fish in Metro Manila.
Arestadong ilang membro muna ng isang Mexican drug cartel na nakapasok sa Pilipinas. May ulat on the spot si Emil Sumangil.
On the 25th of December 2013, a raid on a farm recovered more than 80 kilograms of methamphetamines and revealed the presence of the Sinaloa cartel, an international drug syndicate.
They are perceived as one of the most notorious gang in that country. And they are not only drug traffickers, they are also considered as executioners because they murdered some people in that country. We received an information that they are selling drugs in Greece, US, and Canada. They are trying to expand their business operation in Asia, not only in the Philippines but in Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, all over Asia.
The Sinaloa cartel is believed to be operating in 50 countries and is the biggest supplier of illegal drugs to the United States. The United States intelligence community considers the Sinaloa cartel the most powerful drug trafficking organization in the world. The NBI agents have received a tip-off on key members of the Sinaloa cartel. Should they succeed in this operation, it will be a big win for the international war on drugs. A raid on a local farm last Christmas uncovered the presence of one of the world's most powerful drug cartels in Manila.
Some of the members of that kind of gangsters are here in the Philippines, and they are renting very expensive houses and condominiums.
The NBI agents have been tracking partners of the cartel as they transfer their base of operation from one place to another. It is a matter of time before the drug lords realize they are being tracked, and the NBI needs to act fast.
We are here at the Makati City Hall for us to apply a search warrant so that we can legally enter the place where they live and where they dwell.
Ang hirap Mahirap na yun.
Ganun talaga pag Biyernes, sir.
Pero yung ano ba, yung witnesses nyo ready na ba?
Ready, sir.
How many witnesses do you have ba?
One of our problems is the law that the RA 9165. This law seems to protect drug lords than the law enforcers, because there are so many requirements before you can conduct a search warrant. Most of the cases were being dismissed because of non-compliance with Section 21, the 3 witnesses requirement, which is, I think, is not practical, because sometimes you cannot find elected official, because sometimes some of the barangay elected officials are also involved, and some judges also and prosecutors was being bribed by these drug lords, and that the case were being dismissed, even it is an airtight case. So there's a big problem. We have some time to face as law enforcers.
4 or 5.
5 cases, sir.
5 cases.
Today, the NBI have submitted 5 search warrant applications, but they have directed the judge to give special attention to the one involving the Mexican cartel. The NBI needs expeditious processing of this case due to a probable threat. The Mexican cartel has been undercutting the Chinese triads, and a drug war is likely to happen with dire consequences. To ensure a fair hearing with no foul play, they have decided to raffle the 5 cases between different judges.
This process is for the raffling of the case. This denotes who the judge that will get this case. So it will there's no bias. For example, case number 1. Who will get case number 1? So they will turn this wheel. 147, that is branch 27. Under branch 27, the judge of branch 27 will get the first case. This is the second one. Okay. Ay, ma'am, in-explain lang po sa kanila yung process po ng raffling po ng case.
Search warrant. Search warrant to ina-apply nyo. Baka mamaya kasi
sa announcement po ng NBI.
That's your bad. You should not have allowed this. Wala na sila na yan. You should ban all of this away. Search warrant to.
So, I'm just...
Ban mo sila. I am going to confiscate those cameras.
With that, the NBI agents are ushered out of the courtroom along with the cameras.
It's very tiring to have been staying there since morning up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And actually, on the part of any law enforcement officers, it's very tiring to get a search warrant.
Nakausap ko na, sige.
As the 5 cases are being raffled in the courtroom, the NBI agents can only wait along the corridors for the results. It is a wait that has started since 10 a.m. this morning.
It was already 5 o'clock, so we're been advised by the judge that they will give a search warrant on Monday. He can outrightly deny the search warrant this afternoon, since he told us to go back on Monday. So maybe.
The application for the search warrant on the Sinaloa cartel case has been approved, and the NBI agents have been deployed to enforce it. Tonight, the NBI agents will be coordinating a simultaneous raid on 3 luxury apartments believed to be where the cartel have based their operations.
Get down! Okay. Well, just what's your name? James, where is your gun? I don't have a gun.
James Riak, a notorious Canadian gangster, was believed to be working directly with the Sinaloa cartel when he set up a major drug operation in Manila last year. A search of the luxury penthouse uncovered just a bag of unknown substance. But a simultaneous raid on the other two apartments turned up enough cocaine, ecstasy, and methamphetamines to fill at least 3 suitcases.
We have uncovered the Mexican cartel here in the Philippines. We have apprehended at least 2 members of the Mexican cartel.
Right here in this.
Yes, right here in this. This is a condominium. They're distributing drugs here. Ecstasy, cocaine,
All forms of drugs.
Shabu.
James Riak and his partners had been operating in Manila for 7 months before they were arrested tonight. If convicted, he will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Nobody wanted to be assigned on this division if they have a choice. But I try to love this kind of job. Because if nobody will doing this, there will come a time in the future that the society might crumble and my son might be victims of these drug traffickers or these criminals who are using drugs.
The NBI agents have managed to stop one of the most powerful drug cartels from infiltrating the Philippines. But that is just one of the many drug operations in the archipelago.
It's been a long, since time immemorial, the problem in illegal drugs was already there. But I think we just reduce the problem if we cannot totally eradicate the problem.
Bohol, an island situated in the central Philippines, is a popular tourist destination with scuba divers. But to some of the locals here, diving is not about beautiful corals and colorful fishes.
Wa to ba sigo 30. Ya lubog nga murag nga nakaduol, duol murag di na maklaro ba. Mura naman jug di na sabot ba. Siwa.
It is about making a living. They are compressor divers. Imagine putting your own life at risk several times a day in order to provide for your family. That's the reality of being a compressor diver. With just an ordinary plastic hose connected to a rusty compressor, often salvaged from old air conditioners and fridges, these fishermen dive as deep as 30 to 40 meters to catch fish with just the meager air pumped through these tubes. Known as one of the most dangerous methods of fishing, this stripped-down method of diving has no regulators, mouthpieces, or any other safety gadgets that ordinarily help divers.
The poverty situation in fishing communities, either in the Philippines or some neighboring countries here in Southeast Asia, is very dire that they were even not able to buy the basic fishing implements.
Diving to depths of more than 20 meters, these compressor divers do not have adequate safety equipment.
For small-scale fishermen, if they have no other alternative, meaning to say that they would not be able to buy hook and lines or gill nets, which are sustainable methods of fishing. In some cases, they are too poor even to buy those very cheap fishing implements, then they have no other alternative but to get into illegal fishing.
Compressor diving has been banned in the Philippines since 2002 due to the high risks divers are exposed to. Air is supplied to the divers via lengths of plastic hoses connected to a used air compressor salvaged from fridges or air conditioners. The delivery end of the hose is simply held by the diver's teeth. Not only do these divers breathe contaminated air, but the hoses run for lengths of over 40 meters and can easily get entangled, twisted, and damaged. A recipe for disaster when you're 20 meters underwater with no other air supply.
This one is a Badjao village.
Badjao means man of the seas. Traditionally, the Badjao people are sea gypsies, traveling by boat from one island to the next in search of a fishing harvest. As a school teacher, Marifer is helping educate the next generation of the Badjao people so that they will have options in life other than fishing.
Pero sa mga unang panahon, yung papa ko talaga, hindi gumagamit yun ng compressor. Mano-mano lang talaga yun. At saka yung bubu lang talaga ang hanap buhay nila dati.
Bubu means to free dive in Badjao. In the past, the Badjao people would free dive, often to depths of 20 meters in a single breath, and stay for several minutes in search of fish.
They could stay in the water something like 10 minutes without any air compression whatsoever. But if that's the case, then there would not be any problem with that because it's just free dive, skin dive. There's no problem with that part. The problem is if they are using air hoses when they're staying at the bottom.
But as the world got more expensive, the Badjao people had to keep up with the cost of living. They had to find ways to catch more fish. They found compressor diving.
The main reason would be to stay longer underwater. That's the main consideration for fishermen.
Compressor divers face the same risks as scuba divers. The difference between the two lies in the safety measures taken to minimize these risks.
Diving is actually a very safe sport. However, there's a lot of inherent risks involved because, we talk about decompression sickness. That's one of the major things that will happen for scuba divers. Basically, decompression sickness is a problem faced by divers when we do not follow safety precautions. What happens is the nitrogen that we breathe in using a compressed air will basically get absorbed into our body tissues. The worst case is whereby we get air embolism, whereby the air actually rushes into the bloodstreams. You run a risk of full body paralysis or even worst case convulsion and death.
Scuba divers are armed with much knowledge and equipped with many safety gadgets to prevent decompression sickness. One such gadget is the dive computer that tells the depth and duration of each dive. Costing between $500 to $2,000, it is beyond the reach of the compressor divers.
That's essentially one of the problems. When they go down at sea, the first thing you have to know the depth. They should have the submersible pressure gauge so that they're able to determine what depth they are in. Because each particular depth, at a maximum, say something like 105 feet, you could only stay there for 5 minutes. The fishermen don't know about these things because they're not trained to do recreational diving. They only know that if they could breathe underwater, then they could stay there for almost eternity. Then that's the problem. There are also some reports that fishermen who ascend too fast from the bottom of the ocean essentially got paralyzed and some essentially died for that particular reason.
Abdul Osmenya has been working as a compressor diver for decades. Some years ago, he lost the function of his left arm and leg.
Doktor, mahaling balakay makalangan.
During his consultation with the doctor, Abdul was told that his paralysis was the result of compressor diving. But he has another theory.
Naangay ko no. Meron na, marami na. Kaso lang, yung mga Badjao, pasok dito, labas dito, labas dito. Kasi yun na nga ang, kumbaga, yung madaling hanap buhay. Kasi dati yung mga Badjao dati, hindi na ay kontento lang sa maliit na bagay. Pero sa ngayon, hindi na sila kontento sa maliit na huli. Gusto nila marami.
For many years now, Abdul has been unable to leave his house. He spends most of his days sitting in the same place watching the sea. The onus of bringing home the bacon has fallen upon his sons, the eldest of whom is already a compressor diver. His younger son, Lopez, is soon to follow suit.
Asakin man no makompresor na kay gikami account eh.
Napagkatan.
Permiro pagini mo. Ini ka bulus-luksol po niya. Mura ka makainom kag tubig ba?
Banjang started compressor diving when he was 13 years old. With 27 years under his belt, there are few situations he hasn't encountered.
Sa dagat ang akong kuan na ho sa akong lawas lang akong pananaw ba nga murag sa kanang permiro kay pangpang mangod dive ko na wa tubay sigo 30 nya lubog nga murag nga na kaduol murag di na maklaro ba ning hawid ko na nya akong ang kuan akong ginawa kay mura naman jug di na masabot ba siwa nya hangangin ko sa galain akong ginawa na utro na moto ako na hinay ko saka to hinay na ko saka pag abot ko sumabok kay mao nga akong kuan mo lang gihapon murag ko sa hangin murag ko apas lang gihapon ko sa hangin moto pagsaka na ko pagsaka na ko hinlingkod ko sa kilid ang akong namatngunan nga nakalingkod ako sa kilid sa sakayan. Pagkatumba na ko, wala ko kabaw.
After just 3 months of rest, Banjang went back to compressor diving. But today, he encounters a different problem.
May problema nino.
Problema yung bumot ko rin. Hindi na magtuyok pa.
Tinitindog ko no.
Hindi naman mo. Bala maliyo ito eh. Bala parang maliyo ito paungot na ako.
His air compressor has broken down and he needs to buy new equipment. It takes Banjang 45 minutes on the jeepney to get to town, where he is to go shopping. A brand new compressor will cost around 35,000 pesos. Banjang can only afford 1,000. He can only afford to shop in the scrap yards.
We have no lock and then we have no like this.
Second-hand air compressors often come with problems. Banjang has to find one with the least damage, as his life depends on it. After spending an entire afternoon hopping from scrapyard to scrapyard, he finally finds one in a junkyard selling used car parts. This air compressor once supplied air conditioning in a vehicle, but by tomorrow, it will become part of Banjang's dive equipment. Despite having witnessed his father's condition, Lopez has chosen to follow in his footsteps. Today is Lopez's first day of work and his first time diving with the air compressor.
Asakin man no makompresor na kay gikami account eh.
Napagkatan.
Although some of them actually know that it's dangerous for them. But it's a question of whether using air compressor now or having difficulty in the future because no one will be able to pay for their expenses or even feed their family.
Like most people in his village, Lopez does not own a boat or an air compressor. He will be diving for a neighbor who is moderately wealthier and will pay him proportionately to his catch.
Some of the owners of the fishing boats compel these fishermen to stay longer times at the bottom. And then since these people are poor and they cannot do anything about it, they are at the mercy essentially of the captain of the boat, the owners of the boat.
The mask, the homemade fins, the spear gun he will be using, and even his half-torn wetsuit was borrowed from a friend.
Bating ka pagtaon ng compressor eh.
Without formal training, Lopez learned various techniques by watching others at work. He twists the hose around his body so that he will not lose this lifeline underwater. As the crew cranks up the compressor, Lopez takes a moment to prepare himself. Lopez's boss gives the go-ahead. Within 10 minutes, Lopez has to surface.
And in some cases, the compressor is in the boat, and then you have the oil in there. And in some cases, I even saw some of the boats, some of the oil is already leaking into the tubes, and then they get to the mouth of the fishermen.
Lopez finds it difficult to breathe through the tube. He spends the rest of the morning on the boat, nursing a headache and suffering from nausea. He will not be paid today.
Compressor?
Compressor diving is a double-edged sword for the Badjao people. It has been their main source of income, but it is also the cause of much heartache for many. Kika is only in her early 20s, but already she has been made a widow. Today, Kika is looking to speak with her husband's colleagues in the hopes of finding out exactly how he died. She remembers the night before his death vividly.
When we train divers, we keep telling them, prior to a dive, do not drink alcoholic drinks because it will actually predispose you faster to nitrogen narcosis.
Narcosis produces a state similar to drunkenness. This impairment of judgment is the most dangerous aspect of nitrogen narcosis, as it causes divers to act in a reckless manner. Kika's husband had consumed a substantial amount of alcohol hours before his last dive. Narcosis is likely to be one of the causes of his death. It has been a year since Kika's husband died, but it is only now that she finds the man who dived with her husband. He tells Kika her husband was pressured to catch more fish because he was facing financial problems. Against the advice of his colleagues, he dived deeper than usual that day.
It's like, taking a McDonald's straw, linking them out underwater all the way to the surface and trying to draw air from that thin straw. Firstly, the breathing will not be as efficient as compared to scuba divers. Secondly, the aircon compressor, it delivers air to 5 to 6% at the same time, right? The power it takes to generate the compressor, to pump the air at the pressure to them, it's not going to be as efficient.
Kika's brother is now the breadwinner of the family. He too works as a compressor diver. Like most of the men in the village, Banjeng is the sole breadwinner of his family. His wife and 4 children eat whatever he catches. When Banjeng has excess fish, he either sells them or trades them for other essentials. It has been a few days since Banjeng's last dive, as his compressor was broken.
Compressor? Yes.
Today, he needs to make up for lost time.
Kaning kompresor, maningkamot lang ka sa ilawom. Ana, makaisda man jud ka, makabaligya, makakwarta jud ka nakabuntag. Ana na ko sumabaw na. Ana ra ko sa kapindok para basta na mga bato-bato.
Poverty causes Banjeng to improvise. Unable to afford proper dive equipment, he makes his own.
Ako lagi gama ni. Nanay, isda di so ni mo re. Buka-buka mo ni kasi na may guma. Pag ana na, ubalik mo na siya kana may guma. Na pagkadagay isda, di man kakaagi na diri. Kini wala sa tindahan eh. Mismo kami may bugama gyud ni.
A quick prayer, and it's time to go under. While he dives underwater, his wife stays on the boat to mend the air compressor.
Dua ka oras, tulo ka oras sa ilawom depende na mo sa ganahan mi. Ana basta himabaw. Pwede 4 ka oras. Ana musaka lang kadiyo to sigarilyo, salom na pod. Ana. Depende kanang mulahutay mi. Kanang mulahutay mi salom mo na mabot mi gadlawon. So kanang kapoy-kapuyan mi, adi mi mabot og gadlawon.
Banjeng has been diving since the afternoon, but the night dives is what he really looks forward to.
Gabi mulmol, ana, timbungan, ana. Di man mo ko ngayon sa kanang parihan na to ba nga natulog, magpuyo ra man na. Di naman mo dagan, bisag mahayagan na siya, nabilag mulmol. Bisa pagkuhito ni mo na, di na kay mudagan.
Banjeng leads a simple life and works hard to support his family. He is well respected and an honest man, but also an unlikely perpetrator of a crime.
Ay nga, bawal lagi ang kompresor. Kaya nga kung anong, bawal man ang kompresor nga. Ang pagpangkompresor. O nakasabot ang kompresor, delikado sa itong lawas, o agtota sa ilawom. Pero anhara ka sa mabaw. Walay, kuan basta anhara ka sa...
Even though he only dives in shallow waters, Banjeng's body is already showing signs of nitrogen buildup, but he chooses to believe that age is the reason for his physical pains rather than compressor diving.
Kaning gulang na tapos na yun na kuan, yung sakit. Kaya itong bag-o gali nga, diri mi ani, kani ako ani, kani ang pa ani, kini, kung kini na ho ani. Mura siya kanang dili sakit ikaw niya ang kanya ba na mo ana bitaw.
If you ignore small or minor problems, of course you run a risk of getting the type 2 decompression sickness. You will basically have full body paralysis. You can't move yourself at all, and that may be a permanent damage. Second thing is you might convulse while underwater. The worst case is immediate death.
Tonight, with Banjeng's bountiful harvest, he will be able to sell the fish and provide for his family. For now, the Badjao people see no option other than to live off the sea and engage in compressor diving. But with more Badjao children being educated, perhaps the next generation will no longer have to risk their lives to make a living. For Banjeng, it's all about family.